Hello people of the internet. Today we are going to start a new project. I randomly mentioned it in the last video, but I want to make a proper introduction for it. So let me explain again, please. When you want to add a new package to the official Fedora repositories, there is this long, complicated package review process. It is complicated in a bad way, but it is complicated also in a good way. What do I mean by that? So it contains several steps and a review from from an existing package maintainer, and also uh, like like sponsoring the person if it is their first package. And by sponsoring I mean the sponsor person is basically a a mentor that you can rely on and ask for help if you have any problems with that. So you'll get paired with the sponsor when contributing your first package. And there is a lot of steps for the package review itself. So you need to run the fedora-review tool. You can run it yourself to see the output and what it is going to complain about, but the official reviewer of that package needs to run the tool and make sure to go through its output. And the fedora-review tool does some like linting on the spec file, but it also checks licenses, it checks for potential problems, for name collisions and whatever. Like there is hundreds of tests within the fedora-review test suite, right? So those are, by the way, categorized as either must items, should items, or some optional stuff. So at least the must items needs to be checked for the package to get to have a chance to be accepted to Fedora. So there is a big quality control for packages that wants to go into Fedora. In comparison, for example, to Copper, where you can do whatever you want, and it's up to like the users to make sure they are installing to make sure to understand they are installing potentially dangerous or not that reliable software or whatever. Like in Copper, you can do whatever you want if you are not being intentionally harmful. That's the exception. Like if you are unknowingly harmful, that's okay, that's skill issues. But if you are willingly harmful, then yeah, you will be banned. Anyway, in Fedora there is a huge quality control when packages are going into Fedora. However, once they are accepted to Fedora and they are in Fedora, then there is almost none quality that's not what I want to say. There is a lot of quality control, but for example, when I push an update of a package in Fedora, it is up to me as the maintainer to make sure everything is okay, and nobody else does the review of that update if they don't want to. So popular packages probably get some testing while they are being in the testing repositories, but for example, some of my packages that are not that popular, they get into the stable repositories without much testing. Also, I could like I'm a human, I can miss some licensing changes, I can miss some problems with the package. Yeah, I could be not understanding the how to do something and so on, or there could be some change in the packaging guidelines and I'm not aware of that, so I do my package update, for example, and not use what I should and so on. So there is almost no checks for this. There is CI in Pagure, by the way. I think, yeah, we can see it here. So there is this CI in Pagure. If you do pull requests, which almost nobody does, maybe it is also for pushes, but I don't think so. But anyway, for pull requests there is. And it does scratch build, it does installability check, and build completed. This is just a scratch build, isn't it? Because those are two Koji tasks. So yeah, I think this is this is all the tests that we have, and don't get me wrong, they are really good. Like being checked that the package can be installed and they built actually is a good thing, but I think we should have something more. I think we should have the same fedora-review tool, which provides the huge test suite that we use when we want to get the package initially into the repositories. We should use it for every commit. Why not? Like, the package initially needs to go through all that phase to get the quality, and then keeping the quality shouldn't be hard. So why not running the fedora-review tool for every commit? Now, I have no idea how hard this is going to be. I don't know if anyone plans to work on this, because there is not that... Yeah, I don't remember any discussion about this, but anyway, I want to start a proof of concept of this, or some demo of this. So you would, like, we could think it would be a good idea to add a new check here, but that's not true, because the source Fedora project org is going to be migrating from Pagure. This is the Forge that we are looking at. It is going to migrate from Pagure to Forgejo. So it is not worth figuring out how to write these Pagure checks, because the migration is going to be 2026 definitely. So I think we want to focus on Forgejo actions. So we are going to start with that. Also, we will need to figure out how to run them locally. I did a quick search before the video and it shouldn't be that hard, so we will try that. And we will try to run them only locally, because as far as I know, there is not the replacement instance for this yet. We have only packages. No packages. Forge Fedora project org, which is going to be a replacement for Pagure.io for this one. So basically like Fedora's GitHub or Fedora's GitLab, you know, not the dist-git with the packages. So this could be used, but also there is a downside. I think they don't have an actual CI or runners there yet. So we are not going to probably test it here. I have no clue if like codeberg.org. So I know this site, and I know they have the runners, but I don't know if they use the Forgejo actions or if it is something specific. Like, I don't know what's the exact difference between Codeberg and Forgejo. So anyway, we will need to figure out a lot of stuff, and we will need to figure out a lot of stuff and hopefully get some demo that we could present on a mailing list or as a change proposal or on discussion Fedora project.org and so on. So, you know what, let's start. Now, I wanted to at least show you the plan or the steps that I'm thinking in my head. It would be good to put them on paper. So I think we need to figure out how to write a hello world Forgejo action and run it locally, right? So this is going to be our first step. Then we need to run, let's make this shorter. Everything is figured out because I have no clue about anything here. So run fedora-review as a action. Now collect the results from the Fedora review. So first we need to just run it, you know. We have I know that this is that the actions are defined similarly to GitHub, so they should have the same YAML format. So we will somehow need to run the tool using the YAML, or like using the YAML to trigger the tool to run. And then we somehow need to figure out, like, is this going to be a green mark or green check mark or a red cross that it is like a problem. So yeah, we need to figure that out. I guess we could use the exit code of the Fedora review, but it also produces a review JSON file with all the checks. So we could probably see if there are any failures or errors reported in that JSON. Then we need to filter the Fedora review test suite to only must and not all of them. That's fine. So what do I mean by this? The Fedora review test suite is hundreds of tests. It runs for quite a long time. That could be okay or not, I don't know. But there is a lot of tests, and I don't want to, like, if some of the shoot items fail, I don't want to bother the person with reporting this as an error, because they are shoot items, they are not required. and it could be too annoying. So at least at the start of the project, we should focus only on the must items, and not all of them. Why? Because one of the must items is the package with this name already exists. Check. And of course, for all the existing packages, for all the packages that are already in Fedora, this check would fail because the package with the name already exists. Duh. So we need to filter out the tests somehow, and for example ignore this one. So the filtering will be, I think, complicated because we will need to program that in the fedora-review tool itself. And yeah, this will be a harder part of the problem, I think. What next? I think this is good enough for now. Demo on discussion fedora project.org, and maybe there are some steps, right? Maybe, I don't know. These are the ones that we definitely need to do. Okay, let's start then. And we, by the way, I don't have a name for that project, so we need to figure out some. And naming things is always hard. So yeah. Okay, so check this out. I asked, and how do we run Forgejo actions locally, right? Because I don't want to push to Forgejo or to Codeberg to see the changes. I want to, or to test the actions. I want to run them locally. So they say use act, and basically we can just run the act and that's it within the repo, or we can specify a event. So this looks very like easy, right? So act, of course, act is not in the Fedora official repositories. So, but the good thing is I found the installation page and they mentioned Copper. They mention also a lot of stuff, so we could use Nix as a fallback if something goes wrong. Anyway, we need to enable this repository from Copper. I need to be root to do that. Yep. And just install this one. I need to be root to do that. Okay, let's install that. And hopefully this won't be a problem for us. Okay. Now we need to create some project. So how do we temporarily do it? Let's do just fedora-review, and I do have fedora-review service, which is which runs fedora-review for the packages that are being submitted to Copper. They're being submitted to Fedora. So for the package review process that we mentioned in the beginning, yeah, it runs the tool automatically. So we could do fedora-review, I don't know, CI, for example. Fedora-review. Yeah, let's do fedora-review CI just for this just for the start. We will figure out better name in the meantime. By the way, I know of a person that works on Avant, Pekit Avant. Oh, shoot, maybe GitHub, like this. Okay, we will find it in the repositories here, Avant. So I know this is building to be a replacement for fedora-review. But I'm not sure if they are planning to be just a replacement for the fedora-review service, or if they are actually planning to run the fedora-review tool for every commit like we do in this new project. And it's kind of hard to know what it is supposed to be, because this project is just insanely large. And the last time I was trying to understand what exactly it is doing and maybe send some patches with improvements, I didn't understand. It was just like the code base was maybe 10 times or 100 times larger than the fedora-review service. So like, I couldn't figure it out actually. So they have already some Forgejo integration and Copper integration and so on. Yeah, maybe they are doing the same. I don't know. Let's pretend this project doesn't exist. Maybe it will be the one that is going to be used actually in the future, but at least we can build a simple competitor to it, and we can maybe offer some other perspective, and it would be for a betterment of everybody. And we can drop our project if it is not needed anymore. But I think we will need to do some stuff, at least on the fedora-review tool side, to we'll need to do some of the work on the fedora-review tool side that is going to be helpful for this project as well. So I think like we are not wasting time, we are just exploring the field. So, and this is the best time to do it, because we don't have the instance yet, and people have ideas what do we want, but nobody tested anything yet, so we actually don't know what we want. So exploration time. Anyway, I showed you the Avant project. We installed the Act, and now we want to have some action, right? So this is an example action. Create action YAML. I think they should be in .forgejo. Forgejo actions user guide. So Forgejo actions are defined using YAML files in the Forgejo workflows directory. Okay. So we are going to go to Git and fedora-review CI, and we are going to create a new directory here, .forgejo, and in it not work workflows, right? And we are going to put a, did they say, creating your own actions. So they say action YAML, we will call it action YAML 2, but I think we will need to rename it afterward, right? So what if we just copy paste this, runs. The content of the runs determines what type of action it is. I have no clue. So this is the type of actions. Node action. Why are there node specific actions but not like Python actions or something like that? So they can only be used unless they provide one. Yep, composite actions. Actions are simply a series of steps from a normal workflow packaged as an action. This is what we want. Nice. So we are going to use the runs as they have it here, composite, and we are going to print a message. So are we defining it here? I guess some other step. We don't have any other step. Okay, so this is our first example action, and we should be able to run it using act. So we are having problems with Docker, or this is just info, I don't know. But we don't have GitHub workflows. Oh, we don't have GitHub workflows, that's fine. We want Forgejo workflows, so maybe we can specify the workflows directory. Watch workflows, path to workflow files. And default is this, sure. So acts w.forgejo workflows. Workflow is not valid. Unknown property author. Okay. So author is incorrect. Inputs. Okay, so maybe it is not. Did this specify any? You know what? We are just going to say this and see what is going on. Well, I don't believe you, because we are copy pasting directly from the documentation. They have .github here. Okay. Anyway, so what if we just copy paste something from here is some action. Okay. There is a lot of... Okay, so the action is... Inputs. Yeah, so we were learning how to create a action YAML here in the stop repository. Okay, so we were learning how to create an how to create an action like this. So our action should actually be in here, right? So okay. Default image manual check. Okay, I don't know, let's do the small one. Could not find any stages to run. Yeah, that seems reasonable because we don't have anything in our... We don't have anything in our .forgejo workflows, right? So how do you guys, for example, run this action? If you are a developer of this action, how do you run it? Usage is here, sure. So I'm thinking this is maybe another step. I actually want just some workflow, and we could basically define the workflow just for the project we are going to be working in, and only after that generalize that as an action. So that's, I think, fine. So maybe let's borrow their GitHub workflows, and yeah, here is some job or workflow or whatever is that. So we could basically copy paste some of this, right? Code QL analysis. Jobs, check this. I don't know, I'm thinking what... Yeah, okay, this one looks reasonably simple, so let's try this one. So fedora-review YAML. We will keep everything the same except for the steps here, and maybe not the permissions. Jobs is going to be push, I guess, not publish. And steps, we just want to print a message, right? We are not going to do anything complicated. Okay, this doesn't work. Set shift width equals 2. Okay, so what if we run it now? It is running immutable action version push, so this is it. Job succeeded. Okay, like this. Cool. we are seeing some issues, but that's okay. So what is the command to change surrounding? I just forgot. Anyway, I will do it manually, but Jesus Christ, I'm forgetting my commands. So we will name this just run, I don't know, run fedora-review. I guess types on. So I don't know what on is. What if we just comment it out and have a simpler? Could not find any stages to run. Okay, so we need probably this. What do they have here as another examples? On push, branches main. Yeah, for example, this is, yeah. This looks like the thing that we wanted, right? We also wanted it on pull requests, but that's fine for now. So if we run this, okay, we are failing to get the. So what if we do git init here and run again? Is this because it is not pushed yet, or let's try to push this. Let's try to push this and see if this helps or not. So we are going to test against Forge Fedora project.org. I want to log in here. I'm being annoyed that I'm being locked out every time I visit the page. So this is, we need to do something about that. GitHub keeps me locked on every time. So that's too annoying here. Okay, we are in. I want to create a new project. How do we do that? Profile. I mean, not a new project like like this. I want a new repository. Are you kidding me? Or like, can I this is a project, right? This is not a repository. This is like in the same way as we have GitHub projects, right? Like, am I blind or? help. Learn how to create and manage repositories. Repo. Yeah, Jesus. Okay, I have no clue how to create a repository here. Do I need to create it as a part of so what groups am I part of? None? How did I create it? So I can fork something. By the way, they have actions here, that's good. Okay, they have actions here. I'm getting a little bit annoyed because like creating a new project shouldn't be that fucking hard, should it? If I do foo, any button doesn't appear that I want to create. So what? Oh, this pisses me off very much. Migrate, search. Is there a Forgejo command line tool? Yes. So if I do sudo dnf install this, will this be in Fedora or not? Okay, it is. Forgejo. Oh, I actually ran a server. Did I? Wow. Okay, if running Forgejo server is this easy, then it's fucking cool. I mean, this is impressive. This is impressive. However, I wanted to, yeah, I wanted Forgejo CLI probably. And that's not okay. So maybe Forgejo CLI like this. Okay, no. Migrate admin manager actions. So this is not. I wanted to create a. Who would have thought that creating a new Forgejo project is a problem that we are going to spend 10 minutes on and then bail out that we couldn't figure it out. I mean, that's just great. Okay. Screw it, we are not going to push to Forgejo yet. Let's continue trying to figure this out and ignore whatever problems this with revisions it mentions. So job succeeded. Can we... So what if we put a hello.spec into this repo? So I'm going to copy git fedora hello. I don't have hello. Okay, we are going to download it. So we are going here, rpm's hello. So this is a typical hello world package that is packaging hello world program from GNU. It's just easy way to test stuff, right? So let's pretend our repository that we are working on here is a dist-git repository. It is not, but let's pretend it is. Let's pretend it is, and dist-git repositories have a spec file, right? So let's download the spec file here, okay? So let's pretend this is a dist-git repository. So our action would probably do something like fed package source RPM, right? Because we would like to generate a source RPM. And then we basically have the same set of inputs that the Fedora review has in the package review process, because the contributors provide links for a spec file and for a source RPM. So we would have a spec file which would be committed in the Git repository, and we could generate a source RPM using fed package source RPM. In our case, we cannot, because it is not a dist-git repository. We will use rpm build bs to generate the source RPM, but we will put a to-do there that in the future it would be generated using fed package source RPM. Anyway, we have the file. We have the hello spec. So we could have a step, right, that does something like rpm build bs. So name build srpm from the spec file, right? So run. I guess this is just like we should have a full bash here, right? So we should be just able to do rpm build bs hello.spec, right? So if we run the action, job failed, command not found. Oh, of course, rpm builds is the first problem, but second problem will be it is still not be available because we are inside of a container, right? So we need to install the package. Runs on. Okay, can we use Fedora first of all? So are these defined somewhere, or is this just a name of a container? I have no clue. I have no clue. So the runs on. We need to find some proper documentation for all of these, right? Workflow usage, API, basic concept, advanced feature, reference, maybe. Yeah. This looks. We can close all of this bullshit because there is a lot of stuff, and I'm getting lost in it. So this is probably what we wanted. Runs on. Docker. Okay. Sure. runs on. Must specify what kind of machine it needs to run its steps on. For instance, Docker in the following workflow. Default images. etc. I don't want etc. I want my full list. So the actual machine provider and registered on runs on so I would like to use Fedora, right? So let's maybe ask, I am writing a Forgejo action and it says, can I use a Fedora container? Workflow, not action. Could be confusing. But not by changing runs onto Fedora. This selects a runner. What? Use a Fedora, correct way, use a Fedora container. Okay, so Ubuntu latest. You sure about that? You sure? Okay then. Oh, we are pulling Fedora 40. Let's cancel it. We want Fedora 43, right? 40 is already end of life. Job failed. Yep, no problem with this because RPM build is not installed by default. And maybe since this is not the container image, it is whatever the runner is, maybe we can just do Docker as we had in many examples before. Yeah, this is less confusing, I would say. Okay. Okay. We should probably able to just name install dependencies, right? And it is going to be just a simple dnf e install rpm build. It is more complicated than that. We need probably rpm build. There is one package. There is one package that's... Yeah, there is one package that provides some additional commands and important stuff beyond the RPM build, but maybe it will be enough, I'm not sure. But we got through. We are having problems with this. And that could be a problem actually, right? Because this could be related to this. I'm not sure. So I'm thinking, what if we put just debug run ls, or maybe find on the current directory. Maybe we just need to commit the hello. Running main debug, and possibly this is the output. So there is nothing. Okay. So what if we add a hello spec? What if we try to run it now? Oh, it even got rid of the unable to git whatever. So we just needed to do a commit. Okay, that's fine. Job failed. Hello spec, no such file or directory. Okay. And this seems to be still empty. What is in our reference? Maybe we need this one. Well, clone a repository, add the URL. I kind of think we need this one, because even our GitHub actions that do whatever with the code, I think, have this line. GitHub workflows, and I don't know, copper builds. Yeah, check out proper versions of the sources. So yeah, I think we just need to check out this. Yeah, I guess we need to do this. So steps, and then uses this. So could we combine steps like we have with the uses one, like this? Or is this a problem? Let's see. So input string not in the correct format. I kind of think this is because we needed to push it, but Forgejo, no, we are actually cloning this one. I want to take a look at this URL. They need to be, no? How so? There was this, remember, there was the reference, there was that action that we used as a reference. So anyway, once again, user guide, troubleshooting. I don't want to read any of this because I am a slow and lazy reader. So maybe quick start guide, no, using actions, this one. So they had GitHub workflows, and they have steps, uses, and then doing stuff. So can we can we use the uses like they do, or we need a full URL while it's good enough for them to have only name? I think this is fine for some reason. So do we have any outputs here? Not sure why we're seeing the info, but whatever. Success on the checkout. Whatever that did. Job failed. But now we are seeing stuff. Now we are seeing stuff. Okay, so the problem here is that the sources are not existing. That's easy for us. We have our hello, right? Hello spec, and it specifies fully qualified URLs for the sources. It's just they are not available on our computer. That's why it fails. But we can specify a macro to the RPM build to download them automatically. So if we do RPM build help, it's capital D, yeah, capital D define macro. So if we do RPM build D, now we can specify a macro, right? And the macro is going to be, can I open my RPM macros or not? I hope so. Cat RPM macros grep source. I don't want to show the whole file. I have some experiments there. Yeah. This is the macro that I wanted. So I don't know if there are some private stuff in my RPM macros. Anyway, we can do RPM build D, and then should be able to specify something like this. Maybe let's use simple quotes, since we are maybe going to quote it here. I'm not sure. Okay, let's do double quotes. So RPM build D, and then whatever the spec file name is, BS whatever, right? So I think we can just pass this to a run. Shoot. There are two clipboards on Linux and I still sometimes mess them up. So like this. Let's run the command. By the way, I want a readme.md here in this project, and I want to write the nodes there and helpful stuff. So running review on every commit is going to be a title of this project. Temporary title. So the action YAML is not used yet. If we do run locally with, right, caps lock, yeah, and this is a pretend, this is currently both a pretend dist git repository for the hello package, and also action repository for the fedora-review CI, right? So this is all we know about the project currently. What seems to be the problem here? Downloading. Yeah, it will be problematic because it tries to download here into root rpm build sources, and I think it cannot do so because it doesn't exist. So we could do we could create those. We could create those actually. But I would instead rather download all the stuff into one directory and then run the fedora-review on that. So we need to wait a sec. My line is getting too long. How can I wrap it into multiple? So we are going to define some additional macros like we did with the -d, big D. We are going to specify multiple macros, and we are going to specify a directory for the sources, directory for the spec files, directory for the output, and so on. So it is going to be multiple lines that's why we are asking for the for this. Yeah, okay. I know there is multiple special like line wrapping characters in YAML, but I don't remember which they are. I know there is a pipe, which probably, yeah, that doesn't really matter. So we can do run like this and put our lines here. Okay, so we are going to do something like rpm-bs hello and maybe do this. So one more run if, okay, this is not a valid formatting, so we need indentation probably. Okay, looks reasonable now. Now the macros that we need. rpm build top tier macro. Top tier. So yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. So top tier specifies to the like home directory, which in the container is root. So home directory / rpm build. So this is the top tier path. But then there is this sources. So that's the source dir path. Then there will be specs path and so on. So we are going to create a directory which is going to be create the could we do it in the current working directory? Let's not. Create the create a tmp directory. Doesn't really matter. And it is going to be mkdir. Let's do it in TMP, why not? And it is going to be, for example, fedora-review, why not? Then we are going to let's copy name, copy spec to the tmp directory, and we are going to run cp hello spec into tmp fedora-review, right? We should probably create a variable for this, but let's do that later. Then we are going to name what is it that I wanted to do? Nothing, probably. Then I wanted to build the source RPM and specify the stuff. So we are going to specify the source dir, and our source dir is going to be tmp fedora-review. We are going to do the same with the spec. Specs dir. Specs. You know what? It would be better if I copy paste this. So the same will be with the source RPM dir. This is where the RPM dir is going to be generated. So like this. And yeah, also the, so we don't care about RPM dirs, right? RPM dir and build dir and build root dir, because that's used only when building RPMs. We are generating only source RPM, so we should be fine with just these. Let's run this. Downloading C, we are getting through, succeeded. Cool. And we have our tmp fedora-review hello source RPM. Right now we should be able to run the fedora-review tool in it, right? So we are going to install also fedora-review. I guess I like this better with the indentation, because yeah, now I can clearly read what is the task. And now we should, my Emacs is kind of not understanding the indentation here, which is a bit annoying. By the way, what if I use YAML TS mode instead of YAML mode? I guess it's not much better. Anyway, doesn't really matter. It's just a YAML. Anyway, run fedora-review, which is going to be our fedora-review command, right? But do we need to specify something? Do we need to specify something? how to run fedora-review tool. We can run fedora-review tool with dash b, which is an ID in Bugzilla, which is not what we want because we don't have any Bugzilla, right? We can specify a copper build. So if there was a CI and we build it in copper, then we could use the build result. Also, as I have shown previously, we already have some stuff to scratch build. So we could download the stuff from Koji and use the already built results, right? But we don't want to do that just yet. We will build it locally. So pre-build. Okay, so take spec file from source. No, this is not what we need. One is required. Name. Oh, use local files. This is it. So we want to use name hello in the current dir, or when using okay, so we are going to run the fedora-review tool with name, which is going to be hello. Of course, we will need to have the hello spec, and so on. It is going to be like dynamic, right? But for this demo and like proof of concept and so on, let's just hard code hello and go from there. Anyway, from the current directory, don't tell me that we cannot actually specify a path. When using RPM spec use, I don't want to do that, do I? I mean, I could, why not? But we need to change the directory all the same, because the fedora-review generates stuff in the current working directory. So yeah, we should. Can we specify working directory? So working. So this is under run. So I guess we could specify working directory like this in tmp fedora-review. So this means we are going to change directory to tmp fedora-review and then run fedora-review and hello there. So I guess this could work. Okay, we are now installing a lot of other stuff. That's because of the fedora-review tool. It has a lot of dependencies. Hopefully we could cache it somehow, because that's just too... That just takes a little bit longer than needed. So no mock group, mock not installed, or mock not in effective groups. I have a document, a blog post about how to install mock. We should do this, right? But we are running this as a root inside of a container. So my question is, should we do that? I think we can live without that, right? If we search for env, there should be probably some environment for the job, I guess. Oh, there's a lot of stuff. Env like this. Under run. Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. This is, however, quite complicated syntax, but they are reading stuff from somewhere, so I think we can do it much easily. Or disable it using cman page. Okay, so I guess we can do something like env, and it's just 2 spaces, no dashes, no check. Let's do true. I guess that's just it, and run again. Column line 10 runs. Oh yes, we have a syntax error here. It needs to be like this. So this is a bit annoying. We would like this to be cached, right? I'm running my action using, or my workflows, locally using act. Can I somehow make the Docker to cache the steps so that it doesn't have to download everything over and over again? Yes, you can cache. Interesting. So maybe we will do that. What is happening now? So now we are running the actual fedora-review. So getting spec and source RPM URLs from local files in seems to be reasonable. It found our hello spec and hello source RPM. There are some errors because we're running fedora-review in a container, and that's not optimal. But that's okay though. I'm not sure if this is caused by mock. By the way, you should not run anything but mock in this container. You have been warned. That's fine by us, because we are going to, we are going to kill the container afterward, right? Yeah, and these are mock errors. That's fine, that's fine. Because fedora-review tool actually first takes the source RPM and the spec file, then uses mock to build them locally, and then run the test suite. So the building step takes a lot of time, and in the future we would like to skip it and just download the scratch build sources. But this is good enough for now. Anyway, it is going to build the RPMs and then run the tests on that. And it should generate a directory in tmp fedora-review /review probably, and there should be our review JSON and our review.txt, but we are going to ignore that review.txt. We are interested only in the review JSON. And when we have our review JSON, we probably need to just use JQ to query stuff from that. Or we can write a small Python script to evaluate the results. So this looks scary. Pavel, who is my teammate, is actually an expert and the lead maintainer and developer of mock. So once we get to a phase where it starts being relevant, these errors, we can ask him to help us figure out how to do this correctly and to not generate the errors and to do this safely. At the moment, of course, we don't really care. We just want the demo. So yeah, this will be fine eventually. Maybe we could use a different runner than Docker. I don't know. Like if we got a runner which is a virtual machine, we can run the fedora-review on that, and then we can throw away the virtual machine. Then yeah, we would get rid of this. Also, maybe once we start using the sources, I mean the RPMs already built from Koji, then maybe we will get rid of this also. So what seems to be our problem here? Also, the problem is, I will probably not get to these results, do I? Because of course this was inside of a container and we are not in that container anymore. And 6 minutes per test is a bit annoying when we are doing this on a video. Like if I did it on my own, I would put some YouTube video or Netflix series and I would just do the 6 minutes iterations just fine. So what are we going to do about this? Should we run the same test, but then get the results? I'm a bit afraid that if these tasks fail, it won't get to another one, which would be the cat out of this. So is there some like ignore errors or something like that? Ignore or error, continue on error, yeah. So if it's to true on a step, it won't cause the job to fail. Following steps will still run, and if succeeded, will be marked successful. Yeah, this is what we need. This is what we need for our experiment. So we are going to set continue on error true, and then we are going to put name debug, and it is going to be a cat, run, and we are going to run cat out of tmp fedora-review, or maybe not. It is going to be cat out of this. There is nothing smarter than I can think of. Anyway, ChatGPT also said that we could use volume mounts. So cache server path. Well, this is not... Screw that. Okay, let's just do without caching. And this is going to run for 6 minutes, which is annoying, but I'm going to reply on a text, which I need to, but we have 6 minutes on this run, and then we will see the problem, right? Now, while waiting, we can take a look at the review JSON and what are we going to parse from that next, right? So if we go to, for example, copper, I shouldn't have closed this anyway, doesn't matter. And we go to fedora-review group. We'll search by group name. It will find all the projects that created the fedora-review service. And I would like something that didn't fail actually. So let's randomly, okay, this one didn't fail. And if we go to its results, check this out. There's the fedora-review directory, and it contains these files. Review.json. This is the important file for us. So once our fedora-review tool finishes successfully, it will produce this JSON for us. And we need to parse it. And it's a bit more complicated than we would want it to be, right? Because, I mean, I'm saying the nonsense. It is quite complicated to parse stuff from it using JQ, I would say, because we need to go several layers deep, which is fine. We need to, okay, we care only about must, so we don't need to filter about, like, the must is not here. It is like a category here, so we can just query must and therefore just ignore everything else. That's easy. And we need to ignore some. So for example, we will filter by the name, so there will be something about the name being already taken. So package with, never mind. So we will filter out some of those by name, and then filter whatever says error, and yeah, filter whatever says error and then count. Okay, we could do that using JQ, right? I'm a very JQ noob, so I'm really bad at JQing, because every time I want to do something, I just use Python for this. So yeah, I'm bad at JQ, but I think we can figure it out just fine. Okay, we'll jump here. So we will need another terminal since that one is running the review. So in my downloads, I have the JQ, the review.json file, right? So cat downloads review.json. Okay, we can JQ that, and yeah, I'm too lazy to figure it out using the man page. So how do I select a nested dict using JQ? So dot something. So in our case, it's results and then must. Results and must. Okay, looks like it works. We have generic. Okay, so then we need any directory. Can I use, if I want something like user name? I guess not, but correct way to iterate over object values. So okay, so if we go results as a whatever this means, and then pipe into must, yeah, but this needs to be like this, right? Okay, so this is incorrect. This is incorrect. Because I did it, I guess, stupidly. Results dot mask, and this is here, right? Yes, this is what I wanted. Now we got rid of the generic directory. So there will be generic, but if we had, for example, a Python specific checks, they would be run too. That's fine. By the way, job succeeded. And here we are seeing the problems. So what is the problem? So exception down the road, and here we are getting the file. Comma detected. So DNF5 was detected. Exception down the road. I have no clue what this means. I have no clue what this means. I have seen a similar problems before, but yeah, this is stupid. I'm being spammed everywhere. Well, okay. What is the problem here actually? Do you understand what is going on? So somewhere you get default macros, RPM eval split. So for some reason this command doesn't work. I'm not sure what is being the problem here. Can we check what fedora-review version is being installed? Because I recently released a new version. Fedora-review 011. Interesting. So let's take a look at Koji, for example. Fedora-review built by me. 2 weeks ago, 011. -2. Okay, so this is the latest version. That should be okay because I'm running that locally. So I'm not sure. If we take a look at Peggyr Fedora review, is there any bug report about that? So pull request issues. False positives. Maybe this one. and maybe this one. Also, this looks interesting to us too. Okay, maybe this one. Okay, so let's take a look. So no, that's not a traceback. So this complains about DNF5, and then is there a traceback or not? So here is a traceback, exception down the road. Where is this coming from? So this is in fedora-review depths. Seems to be a different problem. In RPM eval, if we search for RPM eval, nope, not here. So that doesn't seem to be the same problem. Also, we found the problem that I want to see. This is the package name already exists, so we are going to skip that one in our JQ. So let's do it later. Cache only fails. So this is depths as well. So this is also a different problem than we are seeing right now. But let's try RPM eval. Okay, not a problem. So this is a different problem that we are seeing right now. And I'm thinking maybe we can reproduce it. Let's ask one more thing. I want a different chat. Can I open a shell inside of a Forgejo workflow to debug a broken step? I doubt that, but would be easiest. Simulate the shell. No. No, that's okay then. So why don't we let's do another terminal. So docker run 8 fedora 43 bash, right? Well, dnf install fedora-review. Yes. And to make it easier on us, we are going to Fedora review service. We are going to use a Bugzilla, not a local package, so that we don't have to copy it from the. So we don't have to copy it from my system to the container. So we're going to run fedora-review -b, and we are going to pass the same environment variable that we have here, right, equals true. So we are going to run this. I expect this to fail with the same traceback, and then we can probably debug it better than in the action itself. We will see, hopefully. Okay, so we are waiting here for this to finish. We can take a look at our JQ again. So package does not that already exists. So can we grab this? Grab this one. Okay, that's just bad. We want to, yep. Yep, it is in there. Okay, so I am curious of what's the name of that node name. Check no name conflict. Right, so we want to ignore this one. Interesting that there is a pass instead of error, but yeah, we are going to skip it anyway. So here is our JQ filter filter results that doesn't match a field value, could be how we would say it. So that doesn't match using select, negated, whatever. So yeah, this is exactly it. So we are going to, instead of grepping this, we are going to JQ pipe into select on dot name not equals the check name conflict, right? Dot, I forgot dot, or yeah, I forgot, no, I didn't. So we should have a list. We have that. We are inside of a list. And then we should have something like role admin, and they are saying role admin. So we are JQing results must, which is our this line, piping into select dot name not equals something. Cannot index array with string name. I mean we have the same kind of thing they do, no? I think this is the exact same one. So what happens if we do this again? Yeah. So we have a list of items. And now we want to select only those that name is something. This looks reasonable to me. Not an object? Aha, okay. So we are going to use the arrays by field nested objects. correct way, iterate over array. Select nested arrays is more complex. Is this because of our generic whatever nonsense? Is it because... Yeah, okay. Okay. So, you know what, for the time being, let's do just must generic and ignore the language specific stuff. By the way, our fedora-review failed in the container here too, so it is not related to the action runner. Okay, we are seeing the traceback here. That sucks something. Okay, so here in the JQ it is the last point that we need to address is how to count, also filter failures, right? So we want to filter how do I select on multiple? And all must match, so we can do add and something. Okay, cool. And dot result equals, and we would like to see some failures, right? I don't know if it's failed or failure or whatever. So let's do for the time being pass so that we have some results. And we will need to change this to fail, whatever the correct string is. And how do I count and assert it is something. Not sure if the assertion is not sure if the assertion is a JQ thing or not. Assert the specific count, so we can we definitely can do length, right? Well, it's very interesting that it prints the value this many times. How do we need to like wrap all of this here? 22, I guess. So we could wrap it even more and do something like this as count, and then select count equals 2. I mean, this is very, very complicated. And the thing is, our count was 22 and we did 2 and it didn't fail. No, this is bullshit. I want a status code. So can I return non-zero status code? does not automatically set. Okay. So no. No, we want to basically do length and then do the comparison in some other in some other step basically. But seeing how complicated this is, and seeing it will be probably more complicated than that later, we are maybe going to rewrite this from JQ to Python and run a script. We will see. So count failed items, failed must items. We're going to run this here, right? This is of course going to be tmp fedora-review / whatever. I'm not sure what is the correct path because we don't have it yet. And we need to filter a result that is failed. So there will be two to-dos here. To do, fix the path to review JSON. To do, change pass to failed or whatever, right? Makes sense. Anyway, this is maybe a good place where to stop the video, because in the next one we should probably focus solely on debugging the fedora-review tool being broken in the Docker container. So yeah, that will be probably our next session, right? Looking at this, so we are still if I do running fedora-review on every commit, so we are still writing the oh, actually we did this, right? It is workflow, not action, but okay, that's fine. I think we are basically done with the first step. Now we are running this. Okay, so no, I mean we are running it, but it fails. So we definitely are not collecting the results just yet and doing anything with that. We have this prepared, so we are kind of yeah, okay. In the next video, we definitely need to fix this issue to get through with the fedora-review to get the actual results. Thinking about it, Copper runs it. Copper doesn't run it inside of a container. Fedora-review service builds and runs it in Copper, so that doesn't use the container either. But I think I've used fedora-review inside of a container somewhere. It's weird. Anyway, let me remember a bit and we will see. Okay, all right. Thank you all for watching. I hope you're enjoying this project as myself, and hopefully it will be helpful for the Fedora community too. So we will see. Anyway, see you in the next one. Bye-bye.